Hey guys, let's have a look at IELTS Academic Writing Task 1, and this time we're looking at two line graphs. So on test day, you open up your test booklet and this is what is staring you in the face. How are you going to tackle this one? Alright, first thing you want to do is, of course, analyze these graphs. You cannot and you should not start writing until you've fully understood what you're looking at. Alright? Let's start by reading the description, that first sentence in the box. It says, the graphs below show the average water temperature in Hawaii in the years 1990 and 2000. All right, that's pretty straightforward, I get it. So let's look at this one on the left in 1990. Let's have a think about this. Okay, so temperature. So I'm guessing this is in Fahrenheit because it shouldn't be Celsius. Perhaps the description should have said that. Anyway, 60, 65, 70, it's going up in increments of 5. That's the temperature. This is 1990. These are the 12 months, January, February, March, etc. And it's basically stayed relatively stable throughout the year, sort of hitting a bit of a high around August, a low in January, and it's sort of mid-temperature in December there. Okay, that's cool. Let's have a look at in 2000. So this is 10 years later. The temperatures, have a look closely at this y-axis. It's actually slightly different. This time it's going up in increments of 2, so just be careful. So it starts at about 70, which is the same. It reaches a peak though of 80 here. It's well below that at about 73, I guess, something like that. And then it comes back down to December at about 72. And in fact, that's about the same there as well. So a little bit of complexity here in the y-axis. But overall, that's pretty straightforward. So what's the plan then? The plan is this. We're going to write a summary where we rewrite that description. We're going to look at main trends. Yes, we can look at trends because there's a time period mentioned, but also key features. And our third section, our third paragraph will compare the two graphs in detail. Okay, so summary, main trends, key features. Let's go through this just quickly. So for my summary, that's this. I'm going to rewrite that. Main trends, key features. Well, you can see this one's quite stable. This one fluctuates a little bit and has a much higher peak. And then comparisons, what I'll do is I might go through them, the significant or most interesting months, for example, like June or August or December or whatever, okay? Cool, my response will look like this on test day. Let me take you through it. So, sentence 1, this is this sentence here. Let me read you the original and then let me read you mine. The original says, the graphs below show the average water temperature in Hawaii in the years 1990 and 2000. Mine says the given graphs compare the average water temperature per month in Hawaii a decade apart. Okay? I've written the exact same thing, but just in different words. Now, whoopsie, let me go back. My overview paragraph. According to the data, the temperature of the water was quite consistent throughout 1990, but rose and fell more dramatically over the year 2000. Both years experienced the coolest temperatures in January and the highest in August. Just general key features there, okay? And something about the trend as well. Nothing too in-depth. Now I move to depth, okay? In 1990, so I'm looking at the left-hand graph here, the water temperature in Hawaii remained relatively consistent, starting at 70 degrees in January, climbing by about 3 degrees in August, and ending at about 72 degrees in December. I like that bit, climbing by about 3 degrees. So I didn't just say it went from 70 to 73 to 72. I said it climbed from 70 by about 3 degrees. So I've said that in a different way. However, in 2000, the water in Hawaii began the year at the same temperature of 70 degrees, but then staggered, rising to a peak of just above 80 degrees in August before falling again to a low of 72 degrees in September. Though August was the warmest month for both years, the water temperature in the year 2000 was almost 10 degrees higher than the same month in 1990. So I've done a number of things here. Yes, I've mentioned specific data from the y-axis, for example. Okay, I've done that. Yes, I've mentioned years. I ought to do that. But I've also gone and done this a bit differently. I've also mentioned differences in degrees rather than just saying the specific number. I've said there was a 3-degree increase or double, or there's different ways that I can write this more interestingly. I want to make it readable for the examiner. I don't want to just fill it with statistics. I want to make it nicely written, okay? Let's just think about scoring. So you're scored on 4 criteria. First one, task achievement. You wrote directly about that image. You identified main features. That's the second paragraph. Compared relevant data. That's paragraph 3. Structure is logical and cohesive, which means that within the paragraphs themselves, the sentences flow. Vocab, I need a wide range of words, okay? If I find I'm using the same word more than, say, twice, 3 times, find a synonym if you can. Same with grammar. I want a wide range. This is more than just describing that graph. This is about showing off your language skills. How can you say that in a really interesting way? You know, it rose by 3 degrees, or it doubled, or it halved, or it was a quarter of the temperature in 1990 than in 2000. Think about different ways to write those sentences that make it much more interesting. Remember, the examiner is going to be reading hundreds of these and they're boring, boring, boring. Oh, this one's interestingly written. Okay, think about that. Cool, that's all. Now you can go ahead and do the practice and submit an assessment if you have that in your package.